So I'll start with my history. I'll introduce myself. I'm Manjula Nandiraju. I'm a 42-year-old Asian Indian female, and I have two kids, both from C. I had to get C-sections for both of them, and then I have another surgical history of I had to get hysterectomy because my uterus was tilted. During my second delivery, I had so they did epidural towards the end of my water broke, and by the time they gave me epidural, I was already 8.5 centimeter dilated. I was in between I think a pain and the thing, but they gave me anyways. So I don't know if that was the trigger point or what else was the trigger point, but I ended up having very, very bad recovery from my second delivery. I had very bad leg pains. My both legs, it's like shooting pains, like electric shocks that flow on both sides of my legs towards the end, from almost like tailbone till the end. So I had those things. So when I went back, they put me on higher doses of painkillers. So just with C-section, they give you some oxy for a week and then some Percocet for a little bit more. But they put me on oxy for 3 months and then Percocet for a longer time. So every time I complain that my pains are not reducing, they will say, hey, you can take up to 2,400 mg of painkiller every day. So I got into a habit of taking painkillers to avoid the pain, because that pain is really painful, and it would not make, I cannot think of myself not taking painkiller and operating. And I had to go back to work within 2 months to keep my visa status up and to maintain the job for H1 visa because I'm from India. So I had to go through all that, and my baby was cluster feeding. I had all these pains and painkillers I was taking, and I didn't even realize or knew that I was passing on all that to my baby also, all the painkillers. It was a sad situation at that time. My husband was extremely busy, and then because of all this, I got into something, they called it as postpartum blues. So I almost was killing myself. I ended up in that position that I was ready to kill myself. And then I at least recognized that something is really wrong. A lot of people don't get the chance, but I recognized that really something is wrong. So I went to psychiatrists saying that what is going on. So the psychiatrist immediately put me on a painkiller, fibromyalgia kind of medication. So I forgot the name of the medication, but it really helped me. At that time, within a week, I was at least not mentally sick, but my physical illness didn't do any better. I was still sick, but at least mentally I was not that crazy. So slowly I had to wean off I couldn't give my baby any milk because of all the medication I was taking. So I had to wean him off, and then finally I could at least feel a little better mentally. There was some clarity. So that psychiatrist visit did help me, but not with the pains, nothing in terms of pain management. So I had to go separately to the pain management specialist, and I explained all these things, and they said they couldn't identify. I mean, they did all kinds of tests. They did ultrasounds of my back, my stomach, my uterus area, my legs. Then I had 3D MRIs done for the whole portion. Then had Lyme titer, veins. If there are any clogged veins or anything, they even did nerve something testing. So they made me go through rheumatologists, and then internal medicine, general PCP, a gynecologist, endocrinologist. Because of all this, I was having ear ringing and this thing. I developed hypertension. So I went to cardiologist, neurotologist for my ear thing because I was feeling dizzy. Then all of a sudden, again, the huge thing shifted to monthly. Like my period time, my pains would go way higher. And my blood pressure will be like for 15 days of the month, like as soon as my period hits to 15 days, I will have very high blood pressure. From the ovulation point, which I would know because my pains would increase even further in ovulation and during ovulation and period time. So I would know when the ovulation is. From that point, the blood pressure dips to 90/60 or something very weirdly down below for 15 more days. So it was a roller coaster in terms of blood pressure. The pains were steady. So when I went to gynecologist plus endocrinologist, she said, oh, this is all a hormonal issue. So let me put you on something called pill, which is birth control pill, but essentially to balance my hormones. That created further problem because the bleeding was very less during the period, and that was the only advantage the pill did for me. But the pains increased even more. The electric kind of pains, the shock waves that goes on my legs were even further worsened. So I couldn't stay, and every time they put you on a pill or something, they say, give it 3 to 6 months time, don't judge it too soon. So you can imagine that my experiments on each drug were at least 6 months long. During that time, I had nowhere else to go. I had to take the painkillers. And so somebody else suggested that, okay, go to physical therapy while you are doing all what you're doing, because physical therapy will never interfere your drugs and pain management. So I went to physical therapy. It did give me some benefit. I mean, while I was doing a session for 2-3 days, I would really feel a little bit better. At least that's not that bad pain that I would go through. I feel little relief. But each physical therapy session, again, because I was going to experts in, that kind of, it's women-centric physical therapy. It was only available in Hopkins. So I was going there, which is out of my network, I was every time ended up spending like $60 to $70 out of pocket, and which I still did 20 sessions. 10 were covered. Then again, I had to do out of pocket also in the physical therapy, which I did, which I was okay with, even spending while getting some help. But the effects didn't last. They used to last only while I was in session, and come a month later, again, I will be in the same boat. So I was frustrated. Then again, I went back to my gynecologist, said this pill is not working. She put me on something called Mirena, which is a birth control kind of progesterone only thing. But that was even worse. I used to have blood clots. I used to have very, very bad bleeding. Again, we needed to keep it for 3 to 6 months to experiment. Worst time of my life. I had clots even, it's very hard to explain, but it's as big as babies. I had blood clots. When I went to emergency, they would say, oh, nothing severe. I know these are blood clots. Go back to your gynecologist. Even emergency medicine didn't do anything. So then somebody else suggested, okay, you're trying traditional means. You should do maybe meditation, yoga, relaxation. Maybe it's all in your head that's causing, because nothing physically they could identify a problem. So I went that route as well. Okay. So while all this was going on, somebody suggested I should do acupuncture also. So I went to the best available for University of Maryland, best acupuncturist. The problem was it's like 3 times a week I was supposed to be there. And when they did the sessions, I became extremely dizzy. So my blood pressure would fall. I was used to be extremely dizzy. Somebody needs to be there to pick me up. And the next day would also I will be dizzy. And I was supposed to do 3 days a week. So I went 3 times, which the whole week was gone pretty much by dizziness. And I didn't find much of, I couldn't continue there. So I couldn't give it a chance to Chinese acupuncture because I was extremely dizzy and they didn't address the problem that I was dizzy and they are supposed to do something about it. So that went on. So I think I covered all the physicians I went to. At least I would have gone to 50 practitioners, different kinds. Nothing would help. So fortunately, I was talking to another friend who went to Master Kim. And then that friend got testimonial from another friend who happens to be our older acquaintance and very good friends at that time. So got to know that she had very bad breathing and everything, and she got completely healed by that. So I got little faith, and I thought I tried so many things, so why not try Master Kim? So I came here. So by the time I was here, I came to Master Kim, I had so many issues. I'm sorry, I had to read it to you. The kind of things I was experiencing. So I already had hypothyroid, hypertension. So I was on 2 medication for hypertension. I was on hypothyroid, so I was on levothyroxine 75 mcg. Then I was taking painkillers every morning. Without a painkiller, I wouldn't get up. So finally, I ended up having hysterectomy also because I couldn't take anything anymore. So even after hysterectomy 2 years, I was not feeling better because I didn't feel any much of relief. So I was having restless legs, swollen wrists and ankles and feet and everything. And I used to get depressive many times, the feeling of I'm not worth anything. Then there used to be always a brain fog. Was like constantly like I'm not living here. I'm just existing, but now I'm not really here. That kind of a brain fog. Then my right ear used to ring enormously. It used to be like constant noise from the right ear. And then the upper back used to be this area. I used to get very bad pains and leg cramps were always there. Then I used to have hormonal cramps during the period and ovulation time. Even though I got the hysterectomy done, it didn't do any much help because I still had my ovaries and the hormonal changes. And then again, mood changes, feeling unwell and gloomy, as I mentioned. My blood pressure was up and down, as I mentioned, 15 days up and 15 days low. So these were some of the conditions. Then I had side effects like, puffiness in my face, puffiness, bloating, burping, hemorrhoids once in a while. So all the palpitations, whenever I used to go to bowel movement and come back, I used to feel a lot of palpitations. I had to sit for 5-10 minutes before I shower or do anything because it used to be that bad. So a lot of things like these, they were minor to a major practitioner. If I say that these things are occurring, like bloating, burping, or these kind of things, they would say, oh, don't worry about it. Those are like minor. But a person who is experiencing those, they were really severe things. At least to me. So when I came to Master Kim, he did first session. Within first 15 minutes, I was again dizzy. And I told him that needles didn't work for me before. I'm feeling dizzy. And I don't know what he did in his first session. Within 15 minutes, my dizziness was gone. I was no longer lightheaded. I was not asked to stand or do anything. He took care of the dizziness first. He addressed the issue first, and then he took care of my pain. So first session only I could feel the difference in my pain levels. But and then the second session, my ear ringing was gone. So I could right away see even the stiffness of my back was gone, ear ringing was gone, the pains were lessened. So right away I could see a lot of things, but I didn't know, they were not like totally totally changing or anything. So I did several sessions. First session was started last October, and he right away suggested certain things. I know it can be tough for you, tough for me. He is a strong advocate of no milk, no dairy, no meat. I'm a vegetarian, but usually no processed food and stuff like that, which are maybe a lifestyle change, which is very hard for a beginner. So I did slowly. I didn't follow 100%, but I tried to follow whatever I can. The process took 20 sessions almost. My pains were almost gone. My pains were never returned. So I didn't take a painkiller from last October till now, which is almost a year. I didn't touch the painkiller, which is a huge in my life, because every day I used to operate with 2000 mg painkillers. So it was that bad. And then, so my ear ringing was gone. Hands and feet are no longer puffy. So first 20 sessions were very beneficial for that, and I gave a 3-month break. Then I felt like little bit my hormonal changes are coming back or things like that. So I came back for another 20, 30, I think 30 sessions in a row. I did for a whole month religiously, and I followed everything what Master Kim told me religiously. And it was such an amazing journey after that. So almost all my issues are gone. I was off of 2 blood pressure medications. One is metoprolol, which doctors were warning me not to get off of, which I did get off of, and I'm no longer taking it. I'm not having any high blood pressure. I'm off of levothyroxine, and I'm sorry, not levothyroxine, the enalapril, which is another blood pressure medication. So I'm off of total blood pressure medications, and then I reduced my levothyroxine from 75 to 50 mg. My goal is to totally get rid of the second pill also, but I'm not having hormonal changes that much. I don't even know my cycle anymore. I don't have pains that those hormonal pains or electrifying pains, no, at all, not at all. So, and then I had to go to India for a vacation, and for 30 days I was there. I walked, like previously 20 minutes of walk would trigger those pains very badly for me. But this time when I went to India, I was on my feet all the time. I barely operated on 3-4 hours of sleep. Then I went to a pilgrimage village, Kashi, where I had to go to almost 100 temples in one day. I was up on my feet for 13-14 hours straight, but I didn't get any pains. That didn't trigger anything. I was up, energetic all the way. I was happy. I didn't get sick. Usually when I go to India, I at least get once those, the sickness and all those things. I didn't get sick at all this time. So I felt like my organs are healthy. I don't have puffiness in hands, feet, face. I reduced my weight and my belly fat reduced. So Master Kim suggested to be on coconut oil, which I did get onto, and it really helped me also. So what else were the improvements? I think that's pretty much it. I feel like I'm living now. I don't feel I'm foggy. I don't have brain fog anymore. Yeah, I feel I'm alive, basically. I don't know about smartness, but I feel I'm alive. I'm here, present, more energetic. So all those things have improved. There's not one day that goes by without thanking Master Kim and Kathy. For me, as soon as I wake up, I was like, thank you, Master Kim. You gave me second lease of life. I know I might get emotional, but this is the fact. Because it's impossible to live normal. I wouldn't have lived normally if not for Master Kim. So let me put it that way, because I almost gave up hope. My kids could have birthdays again. I could take care of kids. I can take care of many things for them. My husband travels now. 4 days a week he's not there, but I'm taking care of home, I'm taking care of kids, I'm taking care of all their classes, everything. I'm able to operate again normally, like any other normal person would do, which I used to think it's a dream. How could they do everything? But I'm able to do it. I'm able to work and do everything else. So I'm very thankful to Master Kim and Kathy. And they almost, they're so flexible. They treat you like a family. They're so flexible. Sometimes he scolds me too, which is okay, because he does everything for my good. And as last week I couldn't make up for an appointment, he is so understanding. He's like, that's okay. So there is flexibility. There's family friendly environment. My kids feel so happy after coming here. They love to visit Master Kim and his wife and watch movies or TV with them. So it becomes a very healthy family atmosphere. And one thing I would say to all the people who are watching this is, don't judge your results too soon. I know for me, first thing was pain, and that was taken off. It was a miracle which worked, but not everybody would have like first session improvements. Give it some time, because it took me almost 60 sessions fully to get rid of many things. And once in a while I do refresh and come here, but give it some time. If your things are more chronic, you might need more sessions. So give it some time, have some patience, follow everything Master Kim says, because he cannot be policing you. He will only suggest. It's up to us to take charge of our health. So be patient with yourself, be patient with Master Kim, and whatever it is there, be frank. That's what he appreciates, is frankness. If you tell him the truth, he will tell you his part of truth, and you both can have a better understanding. At least in my case, I feel very comfortable telling him everything, if I'm doing right or even wrong. So give yourself a chance. That's what I would say. Thank you, Master Kim.